Welcome to PVTV International. I'm going to present this week's editions of our news roundup. Cabinet News: Myanmar Military will target civilians. In an address to the Humanitarian Assistance and Disaster Response Commissions of the NUG on November 14, Acting President Kawlin warned that the Myanmar Military may intentionally target civilians. According to the statistic collected by the Ministry of Human Rights, the Myanmar Military has committed more than 100 massacres since the coup. The Acting President warned that intentional targeting of civilians, similar to the attacks at Basiji and Monglang Cat, may occur. He also expressed his gratitude to the ministry that have been able to work closely with CSO on ground to provide humanitarian assistance. Acting President calls for Myanmar military soldiers and police to lay down arms. Acting President Kawlin urged soldiers, police and non-CDM civil servants to join the resistance movement in his address to the nations on November 11. Instead of fighting the PDFs and allied forces, he urged military and police to lay down their arms because of the rising fear and turmoil within the military and the junta. The Strict Administration Council, SAC, in his context, the acting president said, "There is no dishonor in laying down arms. It is the right and moral thing to do." He also urged businesses stay supporting the SAC and non-CDN civil servants to understand the current state of affairs and come over to the resistance. Counter-offensive increases momentum of Spring Revolution. The momentum of the People's Spring Revolution has surged since late October as strategic counter-offensive leads to the takeover of camps and towns in the federal states and the regions where interim people's administrations are being established. The NUG announced on November 11. In Shan, Operation 1027, spearheaded by Three Brotherhood Ally, is making significant progress. In Kachin, the coalitions of Kachin Independence Army, KIA, and the People Defense Force, PDF, has taken the district town of Kawlin in Sakai. As attack approached urban center, the Emergency Operation Coordinating Committee, EOCC, is working to mitigate the impact. The EOCC's primary objective is to provide support to groups on the ground before, during and after attacks aimed at gaining control over an area. The NUG has also appealed to local and international private donors, international governmental organizations, international non-governmental organizations, and civil society organizations to mobilize funds or deliver urgently needed emergency humanitarian assistance. NUG and the Karenni State Interim Executive Council successfully evacuate UN staff. The NUG and the Karenni State Interim Executive Council, IEC, coordinated approach in the offensive by the offenses of the Karenni forces around Loikor and safely evacuated 228 UN and INGO staff based in Loikor. UN and INGO procedures require that agency evacuate staff and families during the armed conflict. A convoy of 33 vehicles left Loikor and safely arrived in Taungji, according to a joint statement of November 18. The joint statement further noted that 35,000 have been displaced by the recent fighting around Loikor and urgently need shelter, food and medicine. The NUG and IEC expressed gratitude to Karenni forces and civil society organizations who helped in the evacuation. Canadian Parliamentary Group calls for recognition of NUG. Canada's Parliamentary Friends of a Democratic Burma, a multi-party solidarity group, called on November 9 for the Canadian government to recognize the NUG as the government of Myanmar. The group outlined near-term priorities for the Canadian government. These include strengthening engagement with the NUG, provisions of direct aid and support to NUG control areas, and support for advanced warning system and the free flow of information. NUG assures security of bank savings. The NUG has issued the assurance of people's savings in private banks in areas under its interim administration. The increased momentum of the Spring Revolutions since late October has led to more areas coming under NUG's people administration. The NUG's interim central bank announced on November 13 that people saving in private pens in this area will be safe as measures have been taken to secure them, in line with Section 3 of the Interim Central Bank Law. All of the people's savings will be handed back to them systematically as stability is established. Over 950 billion Myanmar kyat secured from Kawlin branch of Myanmar Economic Bank. The Kawlin District Administration has secured 952.3 million Myanmar kyat at the branch office of the Myanmar Economic Bank. The securing of the cash was carried out in line with the procedures of the Interim Central Bank. The Central Bank announced on November 14. Ministry of Education, Interim University Council issue 2023-24 Admissions Guide. The Interim University Council has issued an admission guide for 2023-24 academic year. The Ministry of Education announced on November 14, admissions will be open for existing tertiary institutions. In addition to the general population, institutions will accept students currently participating in the revolution and from Rohingya education organizations. Residents can safely return to Kawlin. MOHAI announced on November 14 that residents of Kawlin who had fled during the KIEPTF takeover of the town can now safely return to their home as the NUG has established an emergency district administration for public governance. The KIEPTF has transferred administrations of the town of the emergency district administration as of November 8. Ministry of Health, donations for health assistance now accepted through NUG Pay and Spring Development Bank. The Ministry of Health announced on November 13 that it will accept donations for health assistance now through NUG Pay and the Spring Development Bank. These include general donations, donations for comrades injured in resistance activities or sick people displaced by fighting, and cash assistance for medical staff working on front lines. Donations can be sent to the ministry account on NUG Pay and at the Spring Development Bank. Interim Local Public Administration Central Committee, Prime Minister urges improved communication about local administration. Better internet and external communication is needed for the work of the local public administration, urged Prime Minister Mawin Kaidan at meeting of the Interim Local Public Administration Central Committee on November 16. The issuing of emergency orders, guidelines, and leaflets to inform the public, as well as good communication with the townships are necessary for both harm reduction and the functioning of the local administrations, he said. The Prime Minister also called for efforts to raise national and international awareness and improve press coverage of the work of the public administrations, including the areas of administration, judicial system, defense, and financial management. Ministry of Home Affairs and Immigration. The Ministry of Home Affairs and Immigration (MOHAI) issued an order on November 16 calling for non-citizen staff to take the NUG's final opportunity to join the resistance. He warned that the failure to do so will result in severe and unavoidable legal actions. The ministry order also specifically called for the police force and non-citizen staff from the General Administration Department, Bureau of Special Investigation, Prison Department, Fire Department and Immigration in Sagai region to submit their relevant department documents to the nearest township administration group under the NUG. Ministry of Human Rights, Myanmar Military airstrike killed 17 in Tichai. The Myanmar Military carried out 2 airstrikes on Tichai in Sagai between November 12 to 14, said the Ministry of Human Rights on November 16. The strike killed 17 people in total, including 2 children under 2 years of age, 1 child under 6, and a pregnant woman. Another 26 people were injured, while homes and monasteries were destroyed, despite the fact that there is currently no fighting in the area. Airstrike in Chin State kills 11. The Myanmar Military launched an airstrike on Welu Village, Matubi Township, Chin State on the evening of November 15, 2023, according to the Ministry of Human Rights. The attack was not in response to any military actions on the part of resistance forces, as the area has military activity. At approximately 6:40, one fighter jet dropped a large cluster bomb, while another fires rockets. 11 people were killed, 8 of whom were children. 4 others were seriously injured, including a 5-year-old child. A total of 22 houses and school and a church were damaged. Military news from November 13 to 19. Major developments in the third week of November include resumptions in fighting between the Arkhan Army, AA and the Myanmar Military in Rakhine State, and uptake in surrender by soldiers from Myanmar Military. On November 13, the AA attacked military posts in Yatidang Township, breaking a nearly one-year ceasefire with the Myanmar Military. In the context of Operation 1027, the AA attacks show that the counter-offensive against the military has suppressed to Rakhine State. Since the resumptions of hostility, AA has taken nearly 40 Myanmar military border defense camps and police stations. In some cases, troops deserted the camps without fighting. The AA has captured Major Tan Zinton and Captain Pyozia Line of the Sidri-based Light Infantry Battalion 344. In addition, 22 police officers at Apawat Village Police Station in Chowdo Township surrender with their weapons to the AA, as is overrun the Pauto Police Station. The AA has also captured the two military camps at Trong Ai Strategy and Nobu Strategy in Palewat Township, Che and Dongyu Camp in Maudo Township. The renewed fighting is currently concentrated in townships along the Bangladesh-Myanmar border. North of Rakhine, revolution forces in Chin have captured and raised the Chin national flag over Recorder near the India-Myanmar border. This is the first town in Chin state to be seized by resistant forces. It is anticipated that more fighting to occupying towns will occur in Chin. The airstrike by the Myanmar military, which typically coincide with this fight, have been noticeably absent so far. There has been a rapid increase in surrender or defections to resistant forces in Shan, Zagai, Chin, Karenni and Karen. These surrenders have grown from individuals to platoons to non-battalions. A rapid uptick in surrenders could over time lead to the collapse of the Myanmar military. The first surrenders of an entire army battalion occur in Laogai on the Myanmar-China border as the 127 Strong Infantry Battalion, 127 including its commander and their 134 family members, surrendered to 3 BHA forces. The inclusion of their family is notable, indicating that not only the soldier but those closest to them. The lieutenant colonel who led the surrender is being hailed for choosing the lives of his men and their loved ones over a doomed battle. Amid continued fighting in Loikor on November 16, 32 soldiers and their commanders stationed at Loikor University surrendered to the Karenni Nationality Defense Force (KNDF). Video footage showed the soldiers coming out of the gates of the university, most of them visibly underfed and some badly wounded. The KNDF moved the soldiers to an open field while medics immediately started to treat the wounded men. Further south, 23 soldiers from a light infantry battalion surrendered with their weapons to a joint PDF Karen National Liberation Army Force at Chaunokwa, Chaimayo Township in Moon. Significantly, one of the pilots who ejected from F-8 aircraft shown down by the Karenni forces has surrendered on Sunday, November 19 to the Karenni National Progressive Party (KNPP). He is the first pilot to be captured or to surrender to revolution forces. The noticeable increase in surrender is due to fatigue, demoralizations and awareness of much increased livelihood of frontline duty within the military, arising from nationwide strategy of the NUG and its alliance. Further evidence of the military stick lies in the calling up of non-combat military personnel, as well as the training of civil servants and veterans, all to replace the increased losses of the resistant forces. The junta is also attempting to bolster its forces with Buzoti militias, civil servants and family members of soldiers. The evidence of the last week is that this is unlikely to be successful. Summary of the Association for the Assistance of Political Prisoners AAPP statement on the current situation, which is updated on 17 November 2023. Since the 1st of February 2021 coup, a total of 4,190 people, including pro-democracy activists and civilians, have been killed by the junta and pro-military groups during the Spring Revolution. In addition to the total fatality figure, AAPP has documented around 500 deceased persons whose names are unknown and still need to be verified. Since the coup, a total of 25,420 people have been arrested by the junta in relation to its seizures of power. 19,693 are currently in detention, 8,067 of whom are serving sentences. There are a total of 120 post-coup death row prisoners as of November 17, 2023. 119 people have been sentenced in absentia, of whom 43 have been sentenced to death. This makes a total of 163 people who have been sentenced to death. 5,727 people have already been released. These are the numbers verified by AAPP. The actual numbers are likely much higher. Let's see what we have for our weekly roundup news in coming weeks. Thanks for watching PVTV International.